It seems like we got another Unreal Engine 5 game, which is Wuchang Fallen Feathers. So quickly going to the settings, pretty much everything is maxed out except few points, such as motion blur and depth of field in the graphic settings. And going to the advanced graphical settings, this phrased a bit unusually, but our sampling resolution is just DLSS resolution. So basically what you would typically expect, 67% means quality and 59% means balance, which I used here. Now anti-aliasing is high, whatever that means, I'm not entirely sure. I disabled sharpening, and as I mentioned, everything else is maxed out. Now personally, I'm not a fan of Souls-like games, which this game is. I heard that this game has quite a few performance issues, so I decided to test it out. Well, and from my experience at least, it's not really that bad. There are a few stutters here and there. I suspect maybe because I used HDD. I know it's not typically recommended, but I'm still using it for most of my games unless necessary. And even though this game has specific notification about that, I noticed that from utilization it should be mostly fine as long as you have a good HDD. Keep in mind that there's a difference between bad and good HDD, so I'm using one of the fastest HDDs out there. So it's mostly fine. And the performance, the general frame rate is kinda okay. I know it's at balanced DLSS, but I'm completely maxed out. And the performance mostly stays in 40s, maybe somewhere in 50s as well, but I'm not really hitting 60s most of the time. Unfortunately, from what I noticed, it's very blurry in terms of trailing and ghosting. So keep that in mind. You should be able to change the DLSS version to the newer one, but since I wanted to test it as an out-of-the-box experience, I decided to use the built-in one, which is not great, I must admit. So there's quite a few ghosting, and it should be fixed in upcoming patches, because I suspect the DLSS is outdated in here. And talking about outdated, the Unreal Engine version in this game used is also outdated. I believe it uses at the moment 5.1.1, I guess, which is from 2022 or 2023, and that's quite a long time. So the newer versions definitely have a lot of improvements, and that's quite unfortunate because this game would definitely benefit from that. Now I checked Steam reviews, and as the time of this recording, it's mostly negative at 29%, and I don't really understand that because most of them are due to performance issues. But from my case, it's not really that bad. I know I'm using 3090, which is still a high-end GPU, but if you translate that to lower end, it shouldn't be really that bad. So what's the issue here? Well, the VRAM utilization is not really that bad as well. As you can see, it mostly uses about 9 to 10 gigabytes of VRAM at 4K. That's of course DLSS balanced, which is not really that bad. Well, what about the CPU performance? The CPU never really bottlenecks my 3090 either, so I'm not sure where's that complaint coming from. And while the main memory system is quite utilized, about 9 gigabytes, it's not really that out of ordinary, I would say. So again, I don't really understand that. And lastly, what are the conclusions? Well, the game mostly runs fine, at least in my case. There are a few stutters here and there, but maybe I should start testing on SSD on newest games. I'm not sure about that. We'll see. and the game is very bloody and has a lot of ghosting issues, so there is a major problem there, but I guess it should be fixed relatively soon. The game seems to be fine. I'm not a fan of Souls-like games, but it was interesting to test nonetheless. So in the meantime, I'm going to leave you with the gameplay. As always, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye for now.